Here's a dirty little secret about how I created these designs. I didn't start from scratch. In fact, I stole. Not literally, but creatively. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it and how you can do it as well. But first, you've got to learn the rules of the Design Club. The first rule of Design Club is you do not call it stealing, you call it inspiration. The second rule of the Design Club is you never steal the whole design. Steal one element, steal a layout, steal an effect, you'll be fine. But if you steal the whole thing, it will come back to haunt you. The third rule of the Design Club is the more places you steal from, the better. If you only steal from a single source, then you're a copycat. But if you steal and mix from multiple sources, now you're a creative genius. Now, let's dive into this example. In this example, I'm going to be designing the hero section for a sports brand from Greece. And the first thing I'm going to do is to look at the competitors for what I can steal. So I'm looking at Nike's website, and then I'm heading into Adidas websites, and I'm start looking for patterns, not specific things to steal, but note what I see here. They both have most of the website is like a video or an image that takes up the most of the screen. And then they have a navigation at the top that is actually white and that is centered, right? The logo is on the left. We've got the categories in the center and the cart on the right. So do you think Adidas stole from Nike or Nike stole from Adidas? No, these are probably patterns that are best practice in this e-commerce sportswear niche. And so I can feel pretty free and confident to steal them. Also, they have like a big call to action and then a button and then a small sentence. Same for here. So here it's centered, here it's left aligned, but mostly it's the same. And they use videos in the background. So I think those are solid things that we can take from this without feeling like we're stealing too much, right? We're not stealing everything. We're not stealing the content itself, but just the ideas from the layout. So here in Figma, I've opened up a new file and here's basically what I have. So I have navigation, white navigation with the logo on the left, and then I've got the menu on the middle and the cart on the right, and then I've put the content, basically the value proposition and call to action button in the center. This I feel looks a little bit too much like Nike when it's centered, and if I left align it, now it's a little bit too much like Adidas. So I'm trying to think, what can I do a little bit different? And one of the things that I can do is, keep this layout left aligned, but just move it to as if we had like a second column here so that we have this grid. Now this is interesting. It steals a lot of the things from the layout, a lot of the ideas, but it also changes something to make it a little bit more unique. One more thing that I can try is to break them down, make the text a little bit bigger and just put the button on the right column. And that creates, again, another unique layout. So I feel that in terms of the layout, we stole some of the ideas. We've changed a little bit so that it's not 100% the same. Of course, we also have our own fonts, which makes it unique. When you have like bold typography, the font that you choose obviously matters. So now let's think about the other thing, which is basically what are the visual? The visual is the key creative insight that we have here. And obviously we don't want to do exactly what they did. So we want to think about something creative. So we need a different idea to steal from. Now, because this is a Greek company, the first and most obvious thing to do is to go to Google and write something like Greek art, and just to see what visual references we have that we can steal from. Now, in this case, Greek art, there's so many ideas that we can go for, but I'm just going to make this really, really fast. The first thing that I see here, which we can use as an idea, is Greek sculpture, which is always these white sculptures. They're super, super famous. And I think that it can be pretty cool to have like a Greek statue, maybe holding their shoe or something like this. And so I go to my favorite AI tool, which is the Moment. It's free pick because it can use all of the different modules. And my first render is basically, have something like a white Greek statue holding a shoe, which is nice. It's a good start, I would say, but it's still too close to the reference. It's still not going far enough. It's basically copying one-on-one without changing something. And so the first thing that I think that we can change is maybe his clothes. If we could change the clothes from a Greek to something that a little bit more modern, sporty, streetwear vibe, then I think it can be a little cooler. And the other thing that I thought can be cool is add a little bit of graffiti in the background to give it a little bit more street vibe. And so again, I've experimented with a bunch of images, but I actually like this image. I feel like this image steals the idea of let's use Greek statue because this is a Greek company. We're also using blue, light blue in the background. Again, blue and white are the colors of Greece. So I'm also stealing a little bit from the flag. And then adding a little bit something new with the shoe that is colorful, with how he is dressed and the pose. And I think this is actually a pretty cool idea. Now, the second idea that I think I can steal from here is we've got this pottery drawing, which is a lot of times it's either black background with orange characters or it's a orange background with black characters. A lot of times they're kind of like in a row, either depicting a fight or something like this. And I think we don't want to depict a fight, but these people actually look like they are running. And because we're selling running shoes, I feel like this can be a pretty cool idea if we've got like the black people running in the background on this orange background. And maybe we can have like a big shoe floating on top of them. So I've tried to do that, and I've tried a few things, right? I tried the black background with the orange colors. That doesn't look really good. It's kind of like weird, but having black people or black silhouettes of people actually looks pretty good. And with a big shoe kind of like floating around a little bit, I think that this can in a way steal this idea or use this idea of the pottery that we have here, but in a modern context. So it's just referencing to it, right? It's not stealing directly to it. And I think this can be a good direction. Now, obviously here, one of the cool things is that these are videos, and today, like the video models are so awesome, and Freepik here also allows me to generate videos. And so I started generating videos. Now I started with just like zoom in, and then I thought it would be cool to maybe drop paint, but obviously not on the shoe, right? Because you don't want to ruin the product. So in this case, I had to generate actually a lot of variation because every time something weird happened that not exactly what I wanted, sometimes I wanted to see what would happen if the head would explode. That also exploded the shoe. So not a good way to go about it. As you can see, I had to generate a lot of different ideas just to try to see what's going to happen. So this is also creative experimentation, right? I had an idea. In this case, by the way, I wanted to steal another idea. I don't know if you've recently saw the show, Friends and Neighbors. Friends and Neighbors is the name of the show. Yeah. And in the intro to the show, like stuff explodes. So I wanted to steal that idea as well, but I couldn't really make the explosion not explode the shoe. So I ended up actually going with, not this, which as you can see, crazy things are happening and perhaps they're actually pretty cool, but I've ended up just making paint drop over the head and not on the shoe. And I think that ended up looking pretty cool. And for the other one, I've made the people running in the background, just running from both directions as the shoe is kind of like hovering in space. So I hope this was a great demonstration to show you that we can steal from a lot of different places and come up with original ideas. And with today AI tools, we can actually do this very, very fast. I hope you learned from this, and I hope you're excited to experiment with the new tools. Not be afraid that somebody's taking your creativity, but using your own creativity to steal ideas, remix them in new and creative ways to create amazing web design. If you want to learn how to do this yourself, check out the resources below this video, and I'll see you on the next one.